I believe we are live for Monday Morning Motivation with Chris Cook in Nashville and the beautiful Ash Taylor.
Hello, good morning. Happy Monday.
Well, let's see who all is here. Oh, there's Maritza. Good morning, Chris, Ash, and Mel. I'm here a little early. We're Maritza. We're glad you're here.
Oh.
Where is that coming from?
My phone. Sorry, I think for live though, I think it works.
I think it's working. It's working. Well, there we go. There's a nice little loop for you guys.
Yeah.
So, Maritza, we are glad that you're here early.
Yes.
We were here a little bit late today, so pardon the lateness. I was making tea and coffee last minute. So.
You were. You got to get your necessities in.
Took me a minute to get set up today. So
yeah. Happy Labor Day, by the way, everybody.
Yes, happy Labor Day to you guys.
Hopefully you're not laboring. You're getting to rest.
That's right. There is 22Q Cat Lynn saying hi, Chris, Ash, and all. Hello to you, Lynn. We're glad you're here this morning. And let's see. We've got Patricia Hoffman is here. She says, how's the road trip? Well, the road trip that we just completed was good.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple more coming.
Yeah.
This coming week.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Wednesday.
So this week on Wednesday, so September 4th and Friday, September 6th, we're actually going to Kentucky. So we're playing Wednesday in Louisville, Kentucky, and we're playing Friday in Russell Springs, Kentucky. Yeah. So this past week we're just in Knoxville, here in Nashville, Indiana. Indiana. We were in North Carolina. So we've been everywhere, but we're doing great.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got some more road trips coming, and then after this week we get a little bit of time to catch our breath, and then we're headed to, is it California next?
And then we go to Ohio. We're playing in Cincinnati.
That's right. Ohio's next.
And then after that, we took a week and a half off because my brother's getting married. Yep. So that's going to be awesome. And then right after that, though, like 2 days after his wedding, we fly to California to play some shows up there. And then Keto-palooza.
Yep. Keto-palooza. Keto-palooza's coming. So who else going to Keto-palooza? If you guys are going to Keto-palooza, put KPL in the comments for us or in the chat if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay, put it on the comments down below.
We're looking forward to meeting a lot of people. We're excited.
It's going to be good.
I think so.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. It's really nice to put faces to names. And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We saw the title of this is A Diet of Love and Humility. And we have a couple of stories to tell you about for that. So I'm going to get the arms of this chair out of the way because I feel like I'm sitting here like this entire time. I'm all caged up. I'm all caged up. So let's see. We have Jiffy. Good morning from Georgia. Well, hello to you in Georgia. We're glad that you are here, Jiffy.
Yeah. Good morning.
And let's see. We've got about the same number of people watching as we have thumbs up. So that's cool. Hey. So you guys make sure to, if you haven't yet, if you're watching this and you hear me say this, then hit that thumbs up button and share the live stream with your friends. Let them know that we are here because the more the merrier.
Yes.
Let's see. So we have Patricia saying, let's see, there's Lynn 22Q Cat. Just got back from the store and buying my $1 million eggs. Ha, good grief. They were over $35. Man, Lynn, I understand. So we're filming a video today. And we went to the store, and I'm not going to tell you guys too awful much about it, but it's going to involve a lot of eggs.
Yep.
And not like a lot of my all my recipes seem to involve eggs, but this is different in the way that it's involving eggs. But it's going to involve a bunch of eggs. And we went to the store yesterday, and we thought, if we're doing this video that's centered on all these eggs, let's get the nice ones. Let's get the pasture raised, the really good ones. And so we went to the store, and I bought the cheaper of the brands that they had of the pasture raised because I couldn't bring myself to buy the expensive ones. For a dozen eggs, it was almost $12 for the pasture raised, really expensive brand. And I'm like, I'm not paying $1 an egg to film this video. So they did have another brand, which was like $9 for that dozen eggs. But it's just prices on eggs are just killing us all right now. So I know there's supposed to be bird flu going around, and they say there's a shortage, and it's a whole thing. So who knows?
I'm just used to kind of just crying a little tear anytime we buy anything.
It's honestly, it's really
rough.
You
put gas in the car, you get groceries, you pay your rent, your mortgage,
really
and
rough.
You go,
really rough. We're just trying to survive. Shop those sales, guys.
Yeah.
Patricia says, "Look at that pretty silver plaque." Yes. Did you guys notice the beautiful little YouTube button right here. So that just showed up. I have an unboxing video I'm going to put together for that and post for you guys on the main channel. But yes, there is the famed YouTube plaque, the play button, the silver play button really cool. That you'll be seeing in probably all my videos going forward, because I'm very proud of that, because it took a lot of hard work to get that. So
I think we looked it up. I think only like a very small.
I think it's a quarter. I think it's a quarter of 1% of the people on YouTube ever get that.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
That's. So I mean that's crazy.
And do you know why we have that plaque on the wall?
Because all of our fans are so incredible and have been watching and sharing. Because of our
community.
Yes, we love you guys. This right here is just as much of a celebration of what you guys have done for this channel, and well, for the main channel, and then what we're working on doing for this one.
Yeah.
It is as much a celebration of that as it is any of the work Ash and I have done.
Wow.
So
we're so grateful.
We appreciate you guys so much. 22QCat says, you've been busy. Yes, we have.
Yep.
Maritza says, I have already had my coffee, pray time, and watched Mass in English and Latin. There we go.
God.
Very
Maritza,
cool.
You are killing it today.
Yeah, look at that. You were on top of it.
She was early here to the live stream.
I know.
She's already had Mass,
I know.
coffee.
That's right. If everyone wants to know the secret to having a good Monday, follow Maritza's example. She's on it. Whatever she's doing, she got it.
It's a holiday. It's Labor Day.
I'm telling you.
I can't keep up, Maritza.
She's on it. She is on it. 22QCat says the plaque looks beautiful. Yes, I agree. Hey, there's Traveling Pack. We know that name.
We know Traveling Pack.
Hey there, Michelle. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Hope your mom's doing well.
Yep, there's Cindy. Good morning. How are you, Cindy?
Cindy.
Lynn wants to know what you got in that mug there, Ash.
In this mug right here. You know, Lynn, my wonderful husband made me some tea. I don't usually drink tea, but I got a little bit of like a I guess like a stomach bug, I guess is what we're calling it, on Thursday night, and just something kind of weird, and so I'm feeling a little under the weather, and
her gut just got really messed up, and we don't know if it was a food thing, or
I don't know.
Honestly, she swallowed a whole bunch of bugs playing a show on Thursday in North Carolina. We're not sure if maybe they sprayed pesticides nearby, and like maybe that mess. We're not really sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because you felt fine, other than
I felt great.
Other than just the whole digestive system, everything was fine. And so we don't normally have stuff like this, but if your stomach is really, really upset, we have found, especially for Ash, this doesn't happen to me very much. I seem to have kind of an iron gut when it comes to this kind of stuff, other than the IBS that I've dealt with, which actually on carnivore pretty much just goes away.
Yeah.
Other than that kind of stuff, for the most part, I have an iron gut. I can just handle just about anything. So I don't really have to do this. But we've noticed for Ash a couple of times, her stomach is a little more sensitive to this kind of stuff than mine. And so for her, there are a few things that really seem to help. If you guys watched on the other channel when we were doing the health vlogs, she did carnivore for a month, and she had gut issues as a result. And so now I'll give her credit, when we did that, she stuck it out. She stayed carnivore, and she used kefir, like a probiotic filled kefir, probiotic milk kind of thing, basically to stay carnivore, but to get some stuff. And that really helped her. This time she's not trying to be like strict carnivore for a challenge or anything. So there is some kefir in the fridge that she's been using, but this tea that I make for her is really settling for her stomach. And we've tried a number of different things, and this helps a lot. So it's a chamomile tea. It's just like the Celestial Seasonings chamomile tea. Chamomile seems to be really soothing for her stomach specifically. And then I grate in about 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger, because that helps with the actual like indigestion stomach portion a lot for her. And then I tear off a few fresh mint leaves and kind of crush them in your finger and drop them in there. And then we don't normally promote this, but I got a little bit of raw unfiltered honey, and I add just a little bit of honey in there for her. So, she handles things like that better than I do. So she's not as worried about sometimes having a little bit of honey or something.
Yeah.
And the honey with all of those different things, that seems to be really helpful for her. So it is just hot water, a chamomile tea bag, a few mint leaves, about 1/4 of a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger, and probably a teaspoon of honey.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference for sure. So I'm ready now for the carnivore police to show up and take away my badge.
I'm telling you,
it's fine.
They'll be here.
It's fine.
They'll be here. So,
but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what Ash is drinking. I've got my coffee sitting back here. I'll get around to, I'm
super
sure.
Super tasty though. I'll tell you what.
That's the thing. It does taste good.
Well, it just helps so much too. Like if you're not feeling well, it just, for me and my body, it just really seems to help me to feel good. And,
well, and when you get that kind of like burpy, indigestion, acidic feeling stomach thing going on, especially it kind of leads to a little almost nauseous feeling.
I did have those.
This makes a big difference.
I did have solid food though for the first time. I did have meat patties last night.
We had beef last night. So
I had my beef.
All good, and bothered her a little bit, but honestly way better. So we're getting
good.
there. But
that
just kind of keeps everything settled. So
yeah.
Let's see. Margaret is here. Good to see you, Margaret. She says, "Nice to see you, Chris and Ash." This popped up in my feed. Always great to be able to join a live. Well, Margaret, we are so glad you're here. I know you're on the other Chris Cooking Nashville channel. But if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we do these lives and we're going to be starting to do some health videos. And I've got my first interview is going to be coming up. It's going to be on the main channel too, because I'm trying to help people realize that this channel exists. So I'm going to stream the first few interviews to both channels, but eventually the interviews will end up on this channel. The very first interview we're doing is Anita from Ketogenic Woman. She had me on as the first live interview she did on her channel. And she's the first one who really gave me some help and a start on YouTube and took some interest in my recipes and really got, from a YouTube perspective, got some momentum going, which is kind of what has led to me being able to then harness that and turn it into what we have now. And so it seemed only fitting that Anita should be my very first interview because she is a wonderful, sweet lady. And I don't know if there's anyone that will watch my channel that hasn't subscribed to her, but hopefully it'll get some people to know she's out there because she is a wonderful lady. She's amazing. She is.
She's incredible.
So yes, Margaret, we're very glad you're here and we would love for you to join us on these lives anytime you're free. Let's see. Lynn saying hi to Cindy. Margaret says, congrats on the silver play button. Thank you very much. We appreciate you and your support, which is a major part of what has led to that. So Cindy says, I know we're supposed to get the expensive eggs, but we get what we can afford. Congrats on that plaque. Thank you for the congrats on the plaque. And let me tell you something. I got the nice eggs for this particular video because we try to watch out for carnivore police and just keep things as calm as we can. And, if you're not buying the pasture raised eggs, like that's not carnivore. I've literally been told that. Crazy. Normally we buy eggs in the 60 pack at BJ's and we get the cheapest ones there are. And that's what we do. And it's probably a little bit higher nutrition if you get the pasture raised ones and maybe the flavor's a little better. But for the number of them we go through, I need to be able to eat and also pay my rent. So I can't be blowing, $200 a month on eggs only. So it's just we're right there with you, Cindy. We also feed the dog a lot of eggs because they're really good for her. It's part of her
food.
Yeah, it's a part of her food recipe. We cook eggs into her dog food, and we also add a raw egg on top of it every morning and every night. And so she's getting 3 eggs a day, just her. Yeah. So we buy the cheap eggs.
It's also better, I think, to buy cheap eggs than be like, oh, eggs are expensive, and so then since I can't buy the best ones, I'm going to go eat a box of Twinkies.
Well, and that's exactly the thing. Dr. Barry says this all the time. Do the best you can. If you can afford the really, as he says, the super expensive Panda massage, Wagyu type meat,
giddy up,
grass fed, great. Go ahead and get that. And if you can't afford that, just get the best you can because it's a million times better than all the standard American junk that we all eat. So it's just do the best you can. I had someone on the channel, the other channel, that basically said that if I wasn't grinding my own burger from whole cuts of beef, and if I was getting the cheap ground beef that's not grass fed and all that kind of stuff, clearly that's terrible for you. Not only is the taste worse, but the health element of it is horrible because you're getting meat from hundreds of cows and all this kind of stuff. And I asked him, I said, can you provide research on why meat from multiple animals is worse for you than meat from a single animal? And they went off on a angry tirade and then commented a whole bunch of nasty stuff on a bunch of videos afterwards because there is no research. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily the exact same. I'm sure meat from a single animal is great, but not everyone can just afford to do that. And I also don't think there's a bunch of research out there that shows you're going to die because you eat beef from multiple animals.
No.
And if that's what you can afford, then that's what you can afford. So, it's common sense. Common sense is what we're trying to operate on here. So we buy the cheap ground beef, we buy the cheap eggs, I buy the steaks that are on sale. We buy everything on sale and we save as much as we can on that because, again, it's a whole lot better than the junk we used to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just doing the best we can. So let's see what else we got going on here. Maritza says, I'll be asking my daughters to check out the Red Rock Casino music scene. Awesome.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Maritza.
Feel free
Feel
to shoot us a message or an email if you have any info. She also says, congratulations. Thank you so much. 22QCat says, if I was ever get a plaque like that, I'd probably sleep with it to keep it near me. It's a really big deal. When it came, I was super excited. Ash was laying in bed, just taking it easy after a very long day. And I got the delivery notification that it was on the front porch. And so she was laying there in a bathrobe. Like she had taken a shower. And so I walked in, I stuck my head in the bedroom because I was in here editing videos, and I stuck my head in the bedroom and I said, hey, I'm pretty sure there's a silver play button on the front porch. And she bounced up out of the bed and she ran downstairs. She was as excited as I was.
I think like when you maybe had posted your first video or two on your main Chris Cooking Nashville channel, you literally, I remember we were sitting in our living room and you looked at me and you're like, can you imagine having 100,000 subscribers? Like it was this far out, unreachable
how cool would
thing.
that be to be able to have one of these play buttons on our wall someday?
And now there it is. So, hey, dreams happen.
It's wild. It's wild. So we appreciate you guys. So Maritza says thank you, and Lynn says, oh no, hope the tea helps you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah Ash is doing a lot better. I was really worried about her for a couple of days, but she's doing good now.
I think I got maybe just like a little stomach bug, or like I said, ate something, bugs in the wilderness, but I'm seriously good, y'all. I appreciate it. I got a great nurse, great caretaker right here.
That's right. Cindy says, hope you feel better, Ash. And then she has police cars, LOL.
They're coming to take my card.
I'm telling you what, they'll get you.
Oh man,
they'll get you.
Gosh.
Janelle is here. She says, sorry I'm late. Well, Janelle, that's okay. We're glad you're here. So
listen, you're good.
Lynn says, I hear the sirens. That's right.
Come get my card, guys.
Is correct. And Cindy's laughing. Anita is great. That will be a fantastic interview. Cindy, she is amazing. She's a wonderful lady. Honestly, she's one of the first people I started watching that did like carnivore recipes.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of inspiration from her back when I was first doing carnivore, because truthfully, before I started doing all the carnivore recipes I do, there aren't really a lot of them out there. There's a bunch of people that do them, but they're all kind of the same recipes that everyone in the space is all trying from, another creator is made, or, different things like that. There weren't like a lot of like recipe creators trying to go completely outside the box. That's why I started doing it. But Anita was one that was kind of starting to dip her toe into that. And she was a bit of a front runner on that. And, there's a few people out there that have made some very interesting recipes and kind of gone a bunch of different directions. And Anita is one of them. So she's awesome. We love her. She's just family.
Amazing human being.
Yeah, she really is. And that's the thing. She does it because she wants to help people, just like I do.
It's very apparent.
I got so much inspiration from her, and I can't wait for you guys to see the interview because I've got some fun questions for her. So Patricia says, looking forward to interviews. Always interesting. Yeah, they're going to be really cool. And I'm going to do everything I can to make my interviews different.
Yeah.
Because everyone online does interviews, but how do we do interviews Chris Cooking Nashville style? That's what I want to know. So let's see. Lynn says, those were the cheap eggs I got. Yeah, I bought 10 dozen. I eat a lot of eggs. Yeah, we eat a lot of eggs too. And I know they're so expensive. So expensive. Janelle says, I get eggs at my farmer's market. Man, I wish we had one.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. Michelle from Travel and Pack. Carnivore police are tiring, man. You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
we deal with them daily.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why it's so important that we all have a community here, that we do what we do, because it's not that those people are not entitled to their opinion. They absolutely are. But what they are not entitled to do is beat other people up and insult them and run them down and make them feel like failures for not doing it the same way. And that is one of the reasons that it's so important as a community that we say, listen, you can do it however you want. And if you have like scientific things you're saying like, hey, this is not good for you, here's the research why, that's totally fine. But when you're in all of these gray, opinionated areas, and well, this is how it works for me, so I'm going to beat everyone else up if they don't do it the same way, we don't play that game. That doesn't work. That doesn't help anybody. And this is kind of the thing. It's like, do you want to be right, or do you want to inspire someone else to change their life? Because sometimes you can't be both. True. You may be right about something, but it doesn't mean that someone who is on a standard American diet is going to benefit from you yelling that at them. So we're just here to help people, and it does get a little old, but that's why we love you guys here in the community, because you understand and you support what we do and we support what you do, and we're all trying to get along. We all want to be positive, and that's why we do Monday morning motivation. Yeah. So we can all just support each other. So absolutely. Patricia says cage-free and pasture-raised doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means. I listened to Joel Saladin, and he explains what the government allows with the organic language. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. There's a couple of companies. The one we got is Happy Eggs, and I think it's Happy Eggs, what it's called. Yeah. And they are specifically raised on, I think it's like 6 acres or 8 acres or something. And like, they let the chickens like free roam, and that's why they're expensive, because they have to go collect them, I'm sure, in an annoying way. But you guys have to do that research if you want to know for sure what's going on, because cage free can also mean that they shove them all into one great big building. And it's like, technically there's not a cage, but that doesn't mean that they're any different than, the ones that are caged. So there's a whole bunch of different things. And Patricia's right, doing some research on what that language means. Like it's really, really important. So Cindy says, travel and pack, you are so right. The dogmatic people are exhausting. Yes, they are. 22 Q cat. It's okay. We will always bail you out of jail. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, because Lynn. For the carnivore police, I end up in jail on a weekly basis. Yeah. So Sundays is daily. So yep. We're just used to being criminals at this point. We're like, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, you didn't eat meat, salt, water today? That's right. That's right. That's right. Cindy says, that's how we usually buy eggs, 10 dozen at a time. Yeah. And she says, Brian, aka Guinea Pig, we're just gonna start calling him Guinea Pig, surprised me yesterday and agreed to do a weekly live stream with me at 6 Eastern time on Wednesdays starting this week. Well, that's awesome. Are definitely going to have to go back and watch those. We do our Ash Wednesdays a lot of times. Yeah. And if we're not doing Ash Wednesdays, it's because we're traveling like for the next like several weeks or something. Yeah, the past couple weeks we've been playing a show every Wednesday. But we'll have to check those out. So we will definitely have to catch you on those replays though, and I will. If I hear people that are available, I will let them know you're going to do that. That's really cool. And good for Brian for jumping in with you. So what a good little guinea pig. Yeah. We love Cindy and Brian. So if you guys are seeing this, and go over to Cindy DeManch's channel and check her out, and go support her live streams, because she's doing good stuff, and we love Cindy. Janelle says, I'm a 10 dozen at a time gal too. Yeah, we honestly, we do probably about the same thing. They come in packs of 30, and I usually get at least they come in packs of 60, and I usually get at least 2 of those at a time. Oh, yeah. So we're usually getting 120. Sometimes I get them 180 at a time, because we just go through so much. I mean, on top of you and I eating a bunch of eggs, and you have to think too, in our house we do recipe experiments, right? Filming and all that kind of stuff. But also, like I said, we put a lot in Mel's food, the dog's food. So so good for puppy dogs too. Yep, absolutely. We got 22 people watching and 15 thumbs up. If you guys haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button. Yeah. We appreciate you. Lynn says, if I get down to a couple dozen eggs left, I start to panic. I'm going to run out. Well, at least it's eggs and not Twinkies I'm worried about running out of. There you go. Amen. That's a great way to look at it. Yep. I'm kind of the same way. When we get down to the last pack, it's like, it's time to get to BJ's. We got to get another big pack of eggs, because if I start making like deviled eggs, and I'm doing recipe experiments, and we got to make puppy rice all at the same time, that's a lot. Like it becomes a lot. Like it becomes a lot of eggs that will all go in the same day. Like they'll be gone. So let's see. Lynn, glad to hear Brian will be with you. Yeah, that's going to be super cool. Kimmy says, honestly, guys, I've never made one recipe, but I keep coming back for your testimony. It's so refreshing. I need more good in my life. God bless Ash and Chris for all your help. Well, Kimmy, we are really glad you're here. And that's the thing. You know, recipes are great for some people. Some people don't want them, and that's totally cool. That's why I started this channel as a secondary thing. So if people aren't interested in the recipes, but they like this kind of stuff and they just want to come here, they can just come here. So
yeah,
we really appreciate you, and God bless you as well. We can't do it without you guys.
We're so glad you're here.
Yep. Cindy says, thank you, Chris and Ash. We will see you Friday. Woohoo! Yeah, we're looking forward to meeting Cindy in person. So
Cindy, you getting a big hug.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Janelle says at least the eggs are cheaper than ribeyes. That's true. That is very true. And Lynn says Chris and Ash are wonderful people. The recipes are a bonus. Well, you guys are very, very sweet. Well, speaking of being wonderful people, I don't know if we are or not.
Plan it,
that's right. That's right. But speaking of wonderful people and the support that you all give us, so I titled this live stream today, A Diet of Love and Humility. And the reason that I did that is I actually set this up after our North Carolina show. We had a couple of shows in a row where people from the YouTube channel showed up at the show. And we had Pete, who showed up in Knoxville, and you'll see her commenting from time to time on the main channel, and maybe she'll see this one too. She showed up in Knoxville and came up and introduced herself, and she was a sweet lady.
Oh, the best, yeah.
Little tiny thing compared to me, and so I felt like when I gave her a hug, like she just kind of disappeared in my arms. But that was so wonderful. She drove to come see us because she wanted to meet us in person, and she was talking about how much what we've done has helped her, and how the recipes have been a huge benefit for her family and stuff. And so that was really humbling and inspiring to hear, and just to get to meet her, because we love meeting people in person like that. But then the next show was the next night in North Carolina, in Nashville. And Traveling Pack, Michelle, and her mom, Kathy, they both showed up, and they came walking in, and they were like, we saw you were going to be here, and we don't live too far away, and so we wanted to drive and have a little trip to Asheville, and this whole thing. And so they came the next night. And so we had this experience of having several people from the channel come and just give us hugs and thank us for what we do. And, I think as a musician, sometimes there's a stigma around musicians that, we're all rock stars and divas, and we have, these huge egos and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, YouTubers can kind of have that same stigma because, like my channel, I don't have like a huge channel comparatively to big, crazy YouTubers that have, 1 million, 2 million, 100 million subscribers. I mean, there's huge channels out there. And I think like, there is a stigma that as a YouTuber, like, you get all of these people watching you and all these people commenting and telling you you're great. And so you must have this huge ego and, all this kind of stuff. I actually had someone that commented on a video on my other channel saying like, so if you're wealthy, people will give you things. Good note to self. And I'm like, so I responded and I said, I wouldn't know. I've never been wealthy. And it led to this whole thing of them accusing me of being an influencer that makes all this money and, like lying about being wealthy. And like, I know YouTubers make lots of money and blah. And I'm like, you've never been self-employed, and you've clearly never been a YouTuber, because, it pays the bills. We're very blessed that the channel has grown to a point that I was able to quit the day job. But like, if it's a slow month, like this was a little slower month view wise for us, and that's okay. That's just, it ebbs and flows, and thankfully Ash is also booking these paying gigs. And so that helps us out. But it's like on slow months, like we're not rolling in the dough here. Like we're having to be careful about what we buy at the grocery store. If
we were wealthy, we wouldn't have spent 20 minutes talking to you about the price of eggs.
Right. If we were that wealthy, like, first of all, if we were wealthy, I wouldn't be doing multiple videos a week trying to like grow the channel and keep things rolling and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'd sit back and just do them whenever I felt like it. And when I had good recipe ideas that I was just like, I'd take so much time to do them, whatever. It's just this thing that I think there's a stigma that when you do this, you have this huge ego and this huge bank account, and you're like a celebrity, and you're wealthy, and you're stuck up and all these kinds of things. Like I've had that interaction with people online that's kind of what they think of. And I mean, and this is long before I'd hit 100,000 subscribers. People kind of had that stigma, but it really stuck out to me how what we do here is so important and means so much to us, and how much we try to stay really humble and really focused on the love and support of doing this. Because we had a couple of shows where people from the YouTube channel showed up, and it was the most wonderful, warm your heart experience to meet people face to face and actually realize what we do is mattering to real people.
Yeah.
Real people, like, that are in front of you, that are smiling, that are hugging you and thanking you. And it just gives us the drive to do this more and to do this better, because we realize that this matters. And I think one of the things, whether you're keto or carnivore, that really comes from all of this is when you get your body in check and when you start getting the toxins and junk out, your brain fog starts to go away. And when your brain fog is going away, your emotions, especially the negative ones, they all start to settle out. And then the good ones, you can really start to feel them rise in importance to you, and you can experience things more fully. And when you start having that kind of an experience, and then especially for us doing this, publicly the way we do as a YouTube channel, people come to see you. They have questions about your stuff. They want assistance. They want just FaceTime with you. They want to support what you do. They want to thank you for your work. Like any of these kinds of things, it is an unbelievably humbling experience. And it makes all of the ego and the celebrity status and all of this kind of stuff that you could fall into, I guess, if you wanted to lean in that direction, it makes all of that just completely irrelevant. It's like I realize so much more that the reason carnivore and keto and this kind of stuff matter, and the reason the channel is important to me, and why I'm so passionate about what we do with Chris Cooking Nashville. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about how many people we have that are subscribers. It's not about how many views we get. It's none of that. It is the fact that real people come to me and say things like, this family member ate this pasta recipe and didn't know it was a keto or carnivore recipe. I didn't even tell them because they struggle with diabetes, and I'm trying to help them lower their carb count, and I didn't even say anything, and they didn't even question it, and they ate it. You have no idea how much this changes our lives. That's a really heavy, humbling comment to receive. And I receive those kinds of comments a lot because people are desperate for help. People are desperate for health and improvement and answers to the question of, why do I feel so sick and why am I struggling? Like, people need this. So if they need all of this, the only thing I know to do is spend my time trying to do it to help people, because I always say, if you're good at something and then you don't use it to help anybody else, what's the point of being good at it in the first place? I mean, what are you going to do with it? Who cares how much money you have? Who cares how much skill you have? Who cares how much knowledge you have if you sit in a little locked up hole and you keep everything for yourself? And it's like, great, you have all of this wonderful stuff and you've got it wrapped up tight in your arms, and nobody else in the world gets any benefit out of that. And that's really sad. And so I think as you guys do keto and carnivore, and as you go into your week and you're doing this kind of stuff, I would hope that maybe what I'm saying resonates with you, and that this might be something where you say, you know what? Whatever it is I have, whatever it is I know, the knowledge I have about keto or carnivore, or the resources I can share, or the skills that I have, or whatever it is I do, how can I use that to, in a humble and loving way, offer to someone else to help them? And that's what this is really about. Like, eating low carb, sure, that causes all of the physical changes in your body from a scientific and nutritional and biological standpoint. That's great. But what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you change the world like that? Well, the way you change the world is you love people and you humbly offer what you have. And there's one of the things that the dogmatic carnivores don't really understand If someone who's a dogmatic carnivore truly has an answer of this way of doing carnivore is better for you, and here's the reason and whatever, their way of getting that to you and that being helpful for you is not to go, you're stupid, you're terrible, this is not right. That doesn't help. Why does punching someone in the face, figuratively or even literally, why does that inspire them to want to do what you're doing? Why does that in any way in someone's mind make them think, oh, this will help? You know, I mean, that's just pure ego and anger and whatever. And that's not helpful to people. What's helpful to people is you take things that hopefully are helpful and inspiring, and you lovingly offer it when it's appropriate, in a way that's appropriate, and you try to support them, and you say, hey, I've got this thing that really helped me, it might really help you. And that's the thing. If someone was like one of the dogmatic carnivore types that come on the channel and they yell, if instead of coming on the channel and yelling and insulting us and calling us fat and, you know, suggesting that we're lying or any of the various crazy comments that we get from time to time, instead of that, if they came on the channel and they said, hey, this is what I do, and this is how it's different than the thing you're doing. Have you ever thought about trying that? If you'd like, I'd be happy to send you some info on why I think that's so helpful. And maybe that would be something that you would find really helpful too. Is there an email address I could send a link to? Or would it be okay if I gave you some information about that? Or have you ever watched such and such YouTuber, but this video, like, you know, it's got some really cool info? Like, how much of a different approach is that? And then people might actually see that and say, well, maybe I should look into it. That's a completely different approach. And that comes from love and humility rather than the, you're stupid, you're fat, this is ridiculous, this is what's wrong, stop doing this, stop doing that. That doesn't help anybody. In fact, there are psychological studies that have been done about like arguing and debating with people where you're just butting heads. And there's actually a chemical reaction that they can see in your brain when people are arguing and debating. It happens in your brain where these chemicals are released, and it actually makes you far less likely to have your position changed. Your brain chemically, and they think this is like a survival mechanism, where basically when something is becoming antagonistic and it's fighting against you, that the chemical release in your brain makes you more willing to fight instead of more willing to give in. Because if someone is attacking you or fighting you or whatever, this is kind of that fight or flight response. If you just lay down and give up, you're going to die and get eaten by whatever predator is after you. So the fact that the more stressful and more antagonistic and more just angry and fighting and convinced someone else is about something, leading to you being that much more convinced that what you're doing is right because you don't want to give in to what they're saying, it makes a lot of sense. But that's why that doesn't work. Like, if you really want to change people's lives, you can't treat them that way. It does not work. This is why if someone is a drug addict and you yell at them about being worthless, it just makes them more likely to go do more drugs. Fighting an addiction is not something you do with anger. So when we do stuff on the channel and then real people with real faces, with real names show up, one, we love meeting them. We love getting a hug and talking with them about their journey because it's a wonderful thing. But two, it is the most humbling experience and makes us realize how important humility and love are in doing this and then inspiring others to do this. And it matters so much. It really, really does. Like it makes what we do so worthwhile. And even if I never made another dollar doing anything on YouTube, first of all, I'd end up probably on the street. So I don't know how I would do this. But even if I wasn't making any money off of this, I would still want to do this because of the people that I see it helping. I'm just blessed in the fact that I can also pay my bills doing it. So I have more time to focus on doing it. And it's really a humbling experience. So
I agree.
Those are my thoughts. What do you have to say, Miss Ash? I'm going to drink some coffee and stop chatting so much.
Well, no, I mean, I totally agree with everything you said. I thought it was well said. I think it's a message I think sometimes we just need to honestly hear more of. So I totally agree. You said it, but I think just like to kind of add on to what you said, I think something that is really cool to keep in your mind is for everyone watching, you don't necessarily have to have a YouTube channel to go out and to do these things that we've just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't also need to be a doctor, and you don't also need to be, you know, a nutritionist or any of that. Now, if you are, well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I think just do not undervalue your own self and like the things that you've been through in your own life, in your own health journey, your story. It matters and it's very important.
Yeah.
And there's things that, you know, maybe you guys went through that Chris and I haven't. And so one of the things is, you know, especially when Chris first started his channel, I really was kind of more a lot behind the camera. And, you know, I was filming and we started doing your Tuesday night live streams.
Right.
And I, like a proud parent, you know, it's so funny that I would be sitting there filming Chris and I have my phone in this hand and I'm reading your guys' comments. And I would get so proud of our community because I would see people comment and it would, you know, be like, man, I've been on carnivore for 3 days and I'm really struggling with blah, 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 blah. And there would be 4 or 5 people in that live stream chat, you know, who are just like, oh, I had that too. Here, you know, this is what I would recommend. And it was like super loving, super supportive. And I was just like, I am so proud of our community and like that's how they act. And so I think, you know, just remember that you have value. And, you know, and it's like, if you see somebody struggling and, you know, if you're looking to make a difference or help somebody, I think just going about your own keto, carnivore, low carb journey. And when people see your own health improving and they see a great, amazing change in you, I think that alone is really just impacting people in ways that you probably do not know. I know we've noticed that people, you know, at first thought we were crazy when we started doing keto and carnivore. And now they see it to where it's like, we've completely changed. We've lost 230 pounds between the two of us. Right. And
we're working on more.
We're still working on more. We're still losing. We're still doing all this stuff. And now they see that we create these recipes and we have the YouTube channel and that's now how we pay our bills. And it's just changed our lives. And so I think people really stop and they see the example that we set and they go, oh, maybe I shouldn't eat those potatoes, you know? And so I noticed that people around us have even started eating lower carb because it's like before where maybe they would be combative, they can't really argue with our progress. And so I think just you showing up every day and just eating, you know, what you're supposed to do, being honest, being real. If you go to a live stream like this and you see someone struggling in the comments or whatever, be kind, be encouraged, be supportive, you know, talk about what works for you and what doesn't in a loving way, encourage each other. I mean, I think you don't even need to have a YouTube channel or a big platform or 100,000 subscribers. And honestly, I think a lot of people in the comments just loving each other. That is more impactful than anything. So I just want to encourage everybody, especially if you're on any one of Chris's channels, like that's what we're asking you to be, is like, go be light into the world.
Absolutely.
Go be light, go love each other, go encourage each other.
I feel like the way this community works, this is a really cool analogy that just sort of hit me as you were saying that. I think kind of the way this community works and the way it works best. And I've learned this by watching, like, I think Dr. Barry and Nisha's channels do this very much. I think there's a few other creators, but theirs especially has really done a cool job of this. I feel like Ash and I, because we're kind of the faces of the channel and the community that is the Chris Cooking Nashville community, we're sort of like the magnifying glass, right? You guys are the rays of light that come from 1,000 different places that can go through that magnifying glass to become focused and powerful. And so if all of you jump into a comment section and encourage someone who says they're struggling, that is like us being the magnifying glass to harness all of these other people from around the world into one location to give that person the light that they need to just be lit on fire for it. That is how this whole thing works. And that's why it's like, sure, we may be the people that are on screen, but in reality, the recipes and what we do is really just the sort of the lightning rod that attracts all of that power from people all over the world. and we just kind of help harness it into a focused direction. And you guys being involved and doing those things and encouraging each other has more of an impact than I will ever be able to have, in the same way as you sharing our videos, you liking what we do, you commenting, you telling other people about Chris Cooking Nashville in Facebook groups, on Instagram, via word of mouth, text messages, whatever it is you guys do. That's the reason our channel has grown. It's not because I've gone out and advertised in a million places on Facebook, because you're never going to get information to people that way. Mm-hmm. A word of mouth referral from you means 1,000 times more than any post I could ever put online. Because when you guys like it and you tell somebody else about it, they're much more likely to listen. They're much more likely to say, oh, this must be something valuable. And then they come find what I do. In the same way, it is much more likely for someone to listen to you about how keto and carnivore can change their life than for them to listen to us, because they see us and they see the before picture and the after picture. And yeah, that's proof that there's things here that work, but they kind of need to be guided into finding that sort of stuff by somebody else who says that it works first. And that's you guys. You are the ones that have the power to change the world. It's not us. I'm just a central focal point with Chris Cooking Nashville, where you guys can bring all that stuff in and give somebody a landing point. But the actual journey and the direction to get to that first landing point that gives them a place to then jump off of and go forward, that's you guys. You are the light that needs to be focused by the magnifying glass. We just continue to polish it and reshape it and try to make it more appealing and bigger and better so that more and more people can find their way into it. And that's really how I think that works.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I really, really do. I also think, I always say that Chris and I, over the past couple of years, like from the pandemic kind of to present day, we both kind of feel like we've been punched in the gut over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the reason why we kind of do what we do, especially like with your YouTube channel, literally, like the reason Chris Cooking Nashville was started is literally you wanted to start a community. Like that was your goal. You were like, I want a support system and I want to help people.
Yeah.
It's like we created something where it was like, man, I really wish I would have had that.
Yep.
Or when we were really going through a ringer and no one was around to, support and encourage us. It's like, man, we don't have anybody. And so it's like, that was the whole reason this channel was founded. And I just think that we're so blessed with so many amazing people. But I love this message today. It's so true though. So I think this is why we're all so humble and why we just want to encourage you all to go be positivity in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do the very best that we can to be a light for everyone who's here, because there was a time where we lived in a very dark existence and we needed light, and we were blessed to kind of find our way out of it. And rather than complaining that I didn't have the community that I wanted when I needed it, I just decided to go create it so that somebody else who needed it like me would hopefully be able to find it.
Yeah. And that's why we're here. That's why we're so passionate.
Yep.
That's why we tell you all of our dirty laundry.
Yep, that's right.
It's why we just try to be real, open, and honest all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kimmy says, you're welcome and thank you. We'll thank you,
Kimmy.
We just appreciate you being here. Cindy says, so true, Janelle. Ribeyes can be crazy expensive. We just got some at Kroger for $9.99 a pound, the lowest I've seen them in a while. I believe right now Food Lion in some places has them $8.99 a pound. That's about the cheapest I ever see when they throw them on sale. And when they do, I usually get some. I got two in the fridge right now that have been dry brining.
There you go.
Or I'll have those for dinner. So
yeah.
Let's see. Janelle says, I think ribeyes are often $21 per pound at the local Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, ribeye is expensive. That's why I get fatty ground beef, because it's cheap. And I know it's not a ribeye, but fat to protein ratio is pretty similar.
Yeah.
So we love our beef patties. Traveling Pack, you guys are as real in person as you are on the screen, and it was our pleasure to get to chat with you.
Oh,
Michelle, thank you. I really try to tell people, like, I am the same person on Friday night as I am in church on Sunday morning. And that's just that's what I do. And not everybody likes that. Because I don't hide anything. Ash always says, she's like, whatever you feel, you wear on your face.
He's a horrible liar.
I am.
He really is.
I am. I have no desire to lie to people about things. And here's the deal. In the comments section, I don't lie to people there either. If I think what you said is dumb, I'll tell you what you said is dumb. And it's not because I want to fight with people, but it's because I don't do this whole thing of like pretending something is what it's not. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how to lie to people like that. I really don't. And it's sometimes for better or worse, that can be a superpower. That can also be a super hindrance. My wife over here helps me, kind of curb some of those things. But I just don't have any reason to lie to people, and it means the world to me that someone like Michelle and her mom Kathy can show up and give us hugs and then say, you are as real in person as you are on the screen, and you're the same person in both places.
Yeah.
That is a huge compliment.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that that's the impression that people have. And I appreciate you telling us that, because that means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really does. So let's see. Jackie EV is here. First time making the morning live. It is definitely a collaborative community. Well, yes, it definitely is. And we are so glad you're here.
Yeah.
22 QCat. Someone said Keto Chow was too expensive in your comments recently. I actually laughed out loud because you very matter-of-factually said, no, it's not. The conversation was over just like that. Yeah. Those are the kinds of things where it's like, okay, I mean, expensive is a relative term. Someone who works for minimum wage may think that a packet of Keto Chow being $4 or $5, which, I mean, now granted, this is a meal replacement shake. So you have to remember, like, that's your entire dinner, theoretically. For someone working a minimum wage job, that $4 or $5 a pack, that may seem really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who's a millionaire, that doesn't even register with them as being an expense. That's just like a whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So expensive is such a relative term. And I'm like, it's the same kind of thing like when I put music on my videos. That music is horrible. No, it's not. It's opinions and perspectives and all this kind of stuff. And there's room for all of us to have our own feelings about this. And if you think Keto Chow is too expensive to use, don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's very simple. But
I also would like to challenge that person to go to McDonald's then and try to eat for $5 nowadays.
Right.
Because I'm telling you what, you ain't going to eat much.
Well, and this is the thing. Everybody looks at it like, well, I can go buy like a whole bag of, flour for, like $3. I'm like, right. And you're going to kill yourself by massively overdosing yourself on carbs. And in 10 years, you're going to end up paying thousands of dollars in medical bills and expensive medicines and all this kind of like, it's all about perspective. So yeah, I don't want to butt heads with people, but I also, when someone says Keto Chow is too expensive, someone who's never looked at Keto Chow sees that comment and then they never go look at it. And what if Keto Chow was the thing that stabilized them on a keto diet? Yeah. And then suddenly they lose 100 pounds. Yeah. So it's like, people like that. It's too expensive. No, it's not. That's just that way. If someone sees my response, they can just go, well, I'm going to go look at the Keto Chow website and see who's right. Jackie says, the other night I made your burger patties with serious keto flatbreads and Cooking with Dave's cottage cheese brownies modified with Victoria's Kitchen flour, a multi-YouTube cultural meal. That sounds awesome. And that's so cool. Like, you can go get all these recipes from all these different places and make your own custom meal. Like, how cool is that?
Pretty sick.
That's awesome. Traveling Pack says the show was awesome too. Well, thank you. We had a good time, even if Ash did eat a bunch of bugs.
Hey, you know what?
We had a good time.
Extra protein. No, it was great seeing y'all. Thank you for coming.
Let's see. 22Q Cat loves Jackie's idea there, and Cindy says, I watch Cooking with Dave too. He is hysterical. I'm going to look up his stuff. I've seen him, I think, once or twice, but I need to go look it up more. Let's see. That sounds awesome. Kimmy says, amen. Cindy, Chris addresses these comments appropriately for sure. I got one a couple weeks ago that I don't do keto right. LOL. What's so funny to me is Cindy doesn't do keto right. Have you seen Cindy's before and after pictures? Yeah. And do you know how much she can do? Like, go bowl multiple times a week, when she said she'd had to stop doing that because of pain and all that kind of stuff for years. Like, I mean, yeah, you're not doing it right. All of those wonderful resources and things you're using, and then the amazing results you're getting as a result of using that kind of stuff, that's all in your imagination, because you're not doing it right. It's just,
and by right, I mean not the way they think you should do it.
Right. And that's the thing. Just anytime someone says that's not the right way to do it, you just replace the word right with the way I believe to be correct. That's not the way I believe to be correct to do it. Yeah. Good for you. 22Q Cat Keto Police for you too, Cindy. That's right.
Cindy and I are going to be in a jail cell together. You and Lynn will have to bail us out.
I'm telling you. Margaret says, it was a pleasure to spend time with everybody. I must go. Lots of love. Ciao. Well, Margaret, have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here. And hopefully we'll see you next week on the same bat time, same bat channel, as they say, right? Mm-hmm. Any Batman fans out there that used to watch the old Batman movie or the Batman show from, it was like the TV 60s? Show? Yeah, I think it was the one from the 60s. My dad and I used to watch that when I was a kid. Cindy says, you are so right, Chris. How these dogmatic people go about shoving their beliefs does not help. I agree. It just doesn't help. That's why we're here, just trying to love people. And, you know, if you're like super strict meat, salt, water, we love you and we support you in doing it. And that's amazing. And if you're super dirty keto or carnivore and you're using every product that exists on the shelves, but you feel good doing it, we love and support you too. So because at the end of the day, it's about the people, not about who's right with their diet.
Yep.
Patricia says, well said. And Cindy says, Chris, totally agree with you. Jackie, my husband started meat, salt, carnivore yesterday. I'm in semi-solidarity. I'm doing more of a CCN level of carnivore. Well, that is amazing. And I hope that you find amazing benefit. And I hope your husband does too with the meat, salt, water kind of carnivore. Good for him. That's a rough thing to do sometimes for some people, but much luck to him in doing that, and would love to hear how he feels about it. So come back on a live stream and let us know how he's doing. Would love to know. Yeah. Patricia says there's a song in there, Ash. That's right.
Get our ideas down.
That's right. Go back and watch the replay and write down all the great things that you said so you can write songs about
Probably
it.
That you said.
I don't know about that.
No, you said some great things.
I don't know. Lynn says, that's right. We're all in this together, whatever our roles may be in it. Amen. Yeah. Amen. That's how we do it. We change the world together. Carnivore K is here. 99% of the carnivore keto world are amazing. I love it. And I love my life now. Thank you so much for all you both do. Well, Carnivore K, we're glad you're here. Yeah. And we are so happy that you love your life, because when you eat your meat, you love your life. And we love doing what we do. So thank you for being here. And you're right. 99% of the carnivore keto world is amazing. That last 1% can be very loud. And I think that's the thing we all have to remember is it's a small group of people. They're just a loud and obnoxious group of people. So take it for what it's worth. You know, it's a grain of salt kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cindy says the idea of helping just one person is the reason I started my channel as well. Well, Cindy, you're helping a whole lot more than one. So good on you. And we are proud of the work you do on your channel.
Yes.
Jackie says we have several loved ones who truly deeply feel carnivore keto could help with autoimmune cancer and mental health issues. Gently suggested, lovingly left to make their own journey. And that's all we can do.
Love that.
Dr. Barry talks about this. Set a silent example for people. Change your own life and then lovingly show them how you did it without loudly being like, you need this and you need that. Because that, again, that causes that reaction in our brain. It shuts people down. So, Lynn says, great story. So glad I found you.
Oh, we love you, Lynn.
We love Lynn. Lynn has been here since like the beginning.
Yes.
And Traveling Pack says, beautifully said. Yes. Lewis Stone is here and says, is that a Johnny Highland shirt? Yes, this is a Johnny Highland shirt. Johnny Highland is my favorite guitar player. Has been since I was 15 years old. Johnny Highland and his wife, Kimmy, are also good friends of ours. I love Johnny. He is my brother in Christ as well as my brother in the guitar realm. And the first single I ever released, which is Work Don't Work by Chris Delisle. You guys can go find that on Spotify and iTunes and any other kinds of places if you want to listen to a little of my guitar picking. My first single that I ever released, Johnny actually played with me. Yeah. And he and I do some guitar dueling back and forth on there. And I remember I sent him my portion of it when I had played my parts and he was going to record his parts. And he stopped what he was doing to go record it because he was so excited about it after listening to it. And he recorded his parts and he called me immediately. And he's like, hey, brother, I just want to make sure you got that file I sent you, man. That's a fun song. And we were talking about it and listening to his parts. He's an incredible player and just amazing. So if you guys don't know who Johnny Highland is, he does a Facebook live stream for guitar stuff. I believe it's every Sunday, or maybe it's every other Sunday.
I think it's every other.
I think it's every other. So, but you can find his stuff. He's played with people all over the place, and he is a wonderful man and just a very good friend. And honestly, he actually has lost a bunch of weight. And the way that he did that is he was going and getting these chicken gyro salads near his house. And without really realizing it, he ended up cutting his carb count, and he was walking to this place when he still lived in Nashville. He would walk to this place to go get these chicken gyro salads and would then walk back. And, he was having a little bit of a lower carb food than he maybe would have been eating previously, and he started losing a bunch of weight, and it's amazing. He was just being active and lowering his carb count. Well, it's an amazing thing. It's also funny you would bring up Johnny Highland. His wife Kimmy actually tagged me in a post yesterday because a friend of theirs apparently watches the channel, and it may even have been Lewis Stone. I can't remember who she said, but someone watches my channel and sent her a screenshot of me wearing this Johnny Highland shirt in one of our videos. And she was like, Chris, look what I'm seeing. Small world. Really funny. Fox Dreams is here. First time live for me too. Usually I'm at work right now. Well, we're glad you're here. So, you can always do that little thing where you set this like a podcast and you put something in your ear, like a little AirPod or something while you're at work. Don't get yourself in trouble. But if you have the ability to do that at work, I used to do that in the patrol car when I was working a day job. I'd put things on in the background. So we're just very glad you're here, Fox Dream. So thank you for joining us. Lynn says, if I was to find out that you were a different person off of YouTube, I'd send you to Hollywood to pick up your Academy Award for acting. I don't think you can fake this stuff. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Kimmy, indeed. But to add to the perspective, when your diet changes, that money is now available for the foods you need. Yes.
Very true.
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. You also become very clear of mind and have a lot more energy. And I have found you get a lot better at doing things like growing businesses and growing YouTube channels and increasing your income from the things you do, because it's hard to be successful at things when you're brain fogged and struggling the whole time. So,
true. Very true.
It's, and that's a simple statement to a very complex problem. So it's not like you just, just do this and you'll become rich. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But yeah, there's a lot more to it. Patricia says, Cindy DeManch, what is your channel called? I believe it's just Cindy's name, Cindy DeManch. My keyboard, unfortunately, is sitting across the room, so I can't go put a link in here. I don't know if Ash can do that from her phone or not.
I might be able to.
If you go to Cindy's channel and copy the link, maybe we can drop that in the comments here. So
I'll do that.
So I think Ash is set up as a moderator on this channel. I am. So if you're not, we can always go back and add her channel into the description. But it'd be great if we could drop it into the comments, the chat for everybody here. That'd be cool.
I just posted it.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, you should be able to click on that right there. So there is Cindy's channel. Guys, go make sure to give her a subscribe, follow her, and watch her stuff, because she's super sweet and doing good work. Fox Dreams says, bottom line, if it's too expensive, find another way. I can't afford Hero Breads, so I don't use them.
There you go.
There you go. I can't afford the Hero Breads either. That's why I make my own carnivore bread. Janelle says, I introduced Keto Chow to my quadriplegic aunt who is now dealing with liver problems. See, that's the thing. People get like really snotty about I don't like Keto Chow and it's expensive and it's this and it's that. Right. And I'm like, cool. So what about the kid with autism that doesn't understand why a keto diet would be good for them, but they'll drink Keto Chow instead of a regular milkshake? What about the quadriplegic person who maybe struggles to be able to make things for themselves and struggles with like this physical thing, but maybe having a lower carb diet would help them with their medical issues? Like there's a million different reasons why this stuff might be useful. But if somebody is just being dogmatic and snotty about it, it's like they're just letting people like that basically burn. It's like, oh, you don't do it the way that I do, well, you deserve to die. Oh well. Like I've literally been told that from people, where it's like, well, if you don't do it this way, you don't even deserve carnivore. And I'm like, what kind of attitude is that? It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't. So it's wild. So Janelle, good for you for helping your aunt and just loving people and trying to find solutions for them right where they are. That's amazing. Let's see. Jackie says, I want to host a carnivore dinner party for some of those folks we think could benefit from changing their diets. Thinking pot roast with CCN mashed potatoes, stuck in sad thinking that's not, quote, enough. Yeah. So here's what I would suggest, Jackie. This is just kind of off the cuff, my idea. I think that's a really cool idea to host a dinner. So here's what I would do. I would do something like the roast. I think that's really cool because that's
Right.
easy to do inexpensively, but in a large amount with relatively little work. Make the carnivore mashed potatoes, which the 2.0 recipe you can reheat really easily. So you could make it like earlier in the day and just have it ready to go and then reheat it when it's time for dinner. And then I would make a couple of keto veggies, right? Make a couple keto veggies. And so you offer the keto veggie sides and you let them know, like, okay, so the carnivore portion of this is the meat and these potatoes, right? The carnivore mashed potatoes. That's all carnivore. The veggies are keto. So if you feel like you can't quite go carnivore and you want to have some additional sides, then you have the veggies. But if you start to realize that you don't really care about the veggies, you just like the meat and potatoes portion, you just eat more of the meat and the potatoes, or you add some eggs or, any of that kind of stuff. And it's like, so that's carnivore. And then if you include the veggies over here, well, now the whole thing together is keto. And you let people decide, like, where on that spectrum would I feel most comfortable? And you tell them, like, you just ease your way into it and just start going more and more and more carnivore until you find where you feel good, where you feel like you're stable, all that kind of stuff. And if you want, make my deviled egg recipe as an appetizer.
You read my mind.
Yeah, you make the deviled eggs as an appetizer. So they have that and the meat and the potatoes. And then it's like, and if you need the veggies, here's keto veggies. And if not, just eat the eggs, the potatoes, and the carnivore potatoes and the carnivore roast.
And if you want to get really fancy and blow their mind, Chris just put out a carnivore cheesecake video where he does a carnivore savory version and then more of like a sweeter keto version.
Keto, or if you're dirty carnivore that does the sweet stuff, you can do that.
So, I mean, that literally appetizer, I mean, you can do a full course meal. I was going to say too, I think that's great because my siblings, I have two brothers that live here in Nashville, and they come over probably about once a month, and every holiday, everyone's always here at our home.
Family dinner night.
We do family dinner night. We try to be really intentional about that. And that's one thing is like they come over, like my sister-in-law, who is very standard American diet, literally her favorite chili recipe ever is Chris's carnivore chili. And when she first ate it, she didn't know it was carnivore. She just loved it.
I just made chili and she said, this is the best chili I've ever eaten. And I said, it's carnivore and it's thickened with egg yolks. And she was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. So like she requests that all the time. Chris made carnivore bread and we literally did like some garlic toast when they were over here.
We did garlic toast and I did grilled cheese sandwiches. Everyone ate the grilled cheese without hesitation.
Yeah. So I think that's why Chris works so hard on recipes though, but I think that's a great way to get people into it is just have them over and let them taste it and blow their mind.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of having people over and having them taste things and all that kind of stuff, if any of you guys watching this is like, hey, I'm going to be near Nashville, or I would drive to Nashville, or any of that kind of stuff, and you would be willing to be a taste tester for a Chris Cooking Nashville recipe video,
let us know.
We're starting to look for a few people outside of the family. And I unfortunately, I can't host 500 people to have them all come taste test. But especially if you're someone who's been involved in the channel a bunch and we know you, would love for you to come and be a part of a video sometime. And I promise if you come and be a part of a video, you get to taste test with me on camera, and then we'll sit down and we'll have a meal. And if you're interested, we could also do a little interview. I want to do these little interviews like sitting around the dinner table, like called Family Dinner, where I'll just talk with you about your keto or your carnivore journey, which would go on this channel here. And so we could kind of film two for the price of one. And we'll feed you if you guys would like to do that. So if you are willing to drive into Nashville, or especially if you're coming here to visit and you're like, yeah, we're going to be staying, downtown or any of that kind of stuff, and we'd love to pop out for a video kind of thing. We'd love to do something like that. So feel free to comment, or you can send me an email, info@chriscookingnashville.com, and let me know if that's something you guys would be willing to do. If you'd like to come hang out in the Chris Cooking Nashville kitchen, and if we can have a conversation about it, maybe we can squeeze you guys in somewhere, because I think that would be really cool to get the community involved in our videos and let you actually taste on camera. Now, the one thing is, and this is the thing, if you're going to do that, you have to promise to be honest about your opinion about the food. I don't want you to come here and just say that it tastes good so that I can put a video out where you say it tastes good. You have to be honest, because this is one thing people don't realize a lot of times. If something does not taste good, Ash will tell me. And it doesn't matter if we're filming or not. If we're filming, she'll say that on camera. So now, thankfully, I've gotten my recipes all ironed out enough that that's never happened. Although there have been some that she's like, this is really good. And then afterwards she goes, that is really good. I don't think I would eat as much of that as maybe something else. It is still really good, but there's certain ones where she's less enthusiastic when she says that it tastes good. And you can tell which ones it's like, yeah, I like it. Not necessarily the best recipe you've ever done. And then there's certain ones where you really see her light up and she goes, this is the best whatever. Yeah. You know, she's honest. So if you guys do that, I just want you to be honest.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
Always.
So, but yeah, so if you guys are interested in that, let us know, because we're starting to take applications. So let's see. Maritza says, when I started keto after a year, I went 6 months without seizures. After I got the COVID vaccine, the seizures came back.
Wow, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Maritza. You know, keto has an amazing effect, and you know, other things, whether it's that vaccine specifically or other vaccines, there's a lot of things that those things do to our bodies, and you know, we're all kind of fumbling around in the dark trying to figure this all out. So
same, yeah.
Cindy says, sounds like a plan, Jackie. Fox Dreams, I watch them after work. I answer a lot of phones, so can't really sneak it in at work. I understand. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming back and watching afterwards. That means a lot to us. So, but I'm glad you have the day to be able to be here with us today. So, let's see. That's awful. Praying for relief. Yeah, Maritza, we hope you get relief from that.
Praying for you, girl.
Cindy says, thank you so much, Ash and Chris. You're very welcome, Cindy. We support good people. Good people supporting good people. That's why we work with Victor from Southern Keto so much. If you guys don't know who Victor is, go to Southern Keto's YouTube channel. He's got great recipes too. And that's why I work with him, because he does the work and he's just good people. So Patricia says, thank you, sweetie.
Oh.
Maritza says, I need to get back to very strict keto or carnivore to see if they get better. Yeah, that would be great, Maritza. Like, do that. And more importantly, if you get back to like strict carnivore or even strict keto and suddenly your seizures start to get better and or go away completely, go shout that from the rooftops in comment sections and tell people about it. Because think about how many people out there could benefit from your personal story, especially like Dr. Barry's Monday Night Lives. Like, go and put that in the comments. You know, even pay for a super chat if you don't mind, for like $2.99, and put a super chat on his channel, so that it just helps them, because they get so many comments, but that pops up at the top of their comment section. So that way he can see it and you can say, hey, just wanted to say this happened to me. Like, that's a super cool way to help who knows how many thousands of people for many years to come.
Definitely.
Patricia says, fun history fact, up until late Victorian times, 75% of anyone's income was spent on food. Yeah, I don't think people realize the society we live in now, how cheap our food is comparatively. In a lot of other countries around the world, it's still not that way. So we're very blessed. Maritza says, I started at 260 and at my lowest, I was 164. Now I'm at 203. Yeah, but look at that. I mean, you're still almost 60 pounds down from that 260. Like, even if you go back up from 164, like, that's okay. You know what you got to do. Just go back to what you got to do and let your body handle it. And hopefully the seizures get better as a result. And, you know, and we're here for you. We are here to support you. So Jackie says, love that suggestion, Chris Cooking Nashville. Yeah, that's a really cool way to win people over to this. Like, just have them over for dinner, you know, and especially if you give them options where they don't feel like they just have to eat that weird food and that's all you're offering. Like,
yeah,
you know, a lot of times when we have my brother-in-laws over, or, you know, just friends or any of that kind of stuff, if they want to do keto carnivore stuff, great. If not, I'll make some of that. And then I'll make some standard American diet stuff that would be more what they would want. If they're willing to try it, I'll go all carnivore. I kind of tailor it to them, but I try to make some things, if they're up for it, that are keto or carnivore, and say, so this is kind of how we do this. And it just slowly exposes them to it. So,
yeah.
Traveling Pack Michelle says, I can hardly wait to make that cheesecake, I think next weekend. Well, I hope you enjoy it. So
it's tasty.
Yeah. Cindy says, we are in. Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to get Cindy in here for that. And I sure hope you you make sure that Brian comes with you, because I'd love to get the both of you taste testing.
Bring the guinea pig.
That's right. Bring the guinea pig. We need a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Bring guinea pig along.
Yep. That's right.
Fox Dream says, well, dang, I wish I were closer to Nashville. Well, Fox Dreams, I don't know exactly where you are, but wherever you are, if you find yourself coming this direction,
just give us a shout.
You just give us a shout. You just let us know, and we'll see what we can do. So Maritza says, thank you for prayers. You're so welcome. We hope things get better for you.
Yeah.
Lynn says, that would be so much fun, but I could never be in a video.
In a video.
Oh, you would do an amazing job. Don't fool yourself. You'd be amazing.
She could probably take my job.
That's right.
Yeah.
Carnivore K says, I'm planning to be in Nashville in November. Well, Carnivore K, shoot me a message. Shoot us an email, and we'll see if the schedules line up, and maybe we could get you in for a taste test.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. So, Carnivore in the Middle of Forest is here. There's Jerry. Hello, Jerry. How are you? Such a fabulous idea. Wish I was closer. The silver plaque looks wonderful behind you. Since back to work, can't get to YouTube like when I was off after back surgery. Well, that's all right. We appreciate you being here when you can. Thank you for the plaque. Thank you for your support, which is part of what has led to that plaque.
Yes.
And we just really appreciate all of you guys so much for your support. And Jerry, if you find yourself headed south and you end up anywhere near Nashville, you just shoot me a message or an email, and we would love to get you in a video some point in time. By the way, Carnivore in the Middle of a Forest, maybe you could drop her her channel in there, because I know we've talked about her before, but Jerry is as we would very affectionately and lovingly say, Jerry is a character, and we love Jerry, and we think she's great, and she does these cool videos where she's talking about her journey. Would love for you guys to go support her the same as you go and support Cindy. So we'll just drop that into the chat there for you. So Cindy says, you could do it, Lynn. Yes, Lynn absolutely could do it. Like, what a wonderful thing to have a beautiful lady like that in my video. That would be amazing. So,
yes.
And then Lynn says, is that Mel beside you, Ash?
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah, she's laying down there being a booger.
She has been asleep on my feet this whole live stream. She came in and just laid right on top of my feet. So she's been napping, and she got up, and now she's napping over here next to me. So she's just a good dog. She's a good girl. We
got up this morning. We went outside. We took in dog world, this is really important stuff. We got up in this morning. Lazy got up this morning. She didn't want to get out of bed, but we finally got her out of bed. She got up. She took a great big pee, which is always the first thing we do in the morning. And then she got fed breakfast, got her puppy food. And then after having breakfast, she laid on the couch for a while Mom and Dad had coffee and kind of got ourselves going. And then she went outside. She took a nice big, because that's the next best thing that the dogs get to do after having their breakfast. And always
on a walk.
She got to go on a walk. And have you ever seen that when dogs do that, where they go out and they relieve themselves, and then they scratch, and then they're all like full of themselves and bouncy because they feel better. They get so excited. So she's had that in Mel world. That's a busy morning. Yeah. That's a busy morning to go on a walk and go spread her love on the surface of the earth, as it were.
Yes.
You know what they say? It's not a carnivore keto video if you're not talking about poop.
That's true. Yours with the dog. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Jerry says, love you guys. Thanks. Thanks. Hearts for days to give you. Well, Jerry, you are very, very welcome. I hope some more people find your channel, and we just love you. We appreciate you. And Jerry, like I said, Jerry's a character. She along with Lynn and Cindy and Maritza, we have so many people that are just like family at this point. So
yes.
Jackie says, did I hear you once say you make her food? Yes, Jackie, we do. I developed that dog food recipe, and actually Ash is the one that has now perfected it and does it on a weekly basis. But we make all of Mel's food from scratch, and we are going to do a video on it for the main channel. So we keep wanting to do it. It's kind of it's a weird video for us to do, because I've had a bunch of people ask for it. It's a weird video to do, because if I did that as a big Saturday morning recipe, I think everybody would show up and then they'd go, what the heck is this? This would be very weird, because it's not carnivore. It's not anything like that. It is closer to keto, although we do use some rice. I don't necessarily recommend you do that, but we do that for Mel because we have realized if we take all of that out, she has tummy problems, and golden retrievers have really sensitive stomachs. For whatever reason, a little bit of rice in there settles her tummy, and it just keeps her much, much happier. So we just do what works best for her stomach. So it's not really like a keto or carnivore recipe per se, but it is pretty close to keto because there's not a lot of rice, but it's mostly like meats and a few frozen veggies and this kind of stuff. And we make her food from scratch. So it's like, I'd love to do that recipe video, but it doesn't fit into my Saturday recipes. It would be a great middle of the week video that we could put out there. But we've had so many other things we've done with Keto Chow, and we've done product reviews and like all this stuff. We haven't had time. Plus we're touring.
Yeah.
So it's been weird, but we're definitely going to try to get that done soon for you guys, because I know a lot of people want to see it. So, do you want to tell them about what has happened to Mel since we have switched her to that puppy food that we make? Because I know you kind of did the research that spawned this.
Well, I mean, we've had Mel since she was just a little baby. I mean, a couple weeks old, and she's 5 currently. But when we got her, we basically, her whole life had her on really high-end kibble dog food. And at the time, Chris and I were probably at our unhealthiest, highest weights and everything. And we had started to do keto and carnivore, and kind of were seeing how that was basically changing our lives. And about that same time, though, I kept taking Mel into the vet. She goes about every 6 months and gets, checked out. And
we have like an insurance plan to keep her healthy, and they do blood work every 6 months and dental cleanings and all that. It just keeps her tip top shape. Yeah,
it just keeps her tip top shape. But she was 3 years old and at the time, and I would take her to the vet every 6 months, and I take Mel either on a long walk or we go play fetch every single morning. She's super active. But I take her to the vet and they would basically be like, well, this is wrong and that's wrong. And then they kept saying that she was overweight. And it's like, well, how is she overweight? I mean, this dog works out like super strenuously, like every single day.
She would play fetch very, very hard and run every day. We were feeding her the measured out amount of food twice a day that the dog food companies recommend and the vet recommends.
And it was like the expensive dog food, like the best that money could buy. And so
you're spending like what, $120 some on dog food a month?
Yeah, I think a little bit more at one point. So I mean, we were doing everything we can, but yet the vet kept telling us that she was having all these health problems, and she was only 3. She also started to have like bumps on her skin, and actually had to have like a little surgery to have one removed. And so we were kind of talking about it, and I'm like, what is in this dog food? Like, what is in this kibble that we're paying so much money to feed her?
Yeah.
And I went down a rabbit hole, which we'll probably talk about in that video. But basically, I realized that I'm paying for sawdust, and it's basically cooked at such a high temperature that even if there is some meat and veggie and actual nutrients, it's cooked so high that it's all just being zapped out. And then it's shot with preservatives to give it a long shelf life. And so we started talking about it, and that's when Chris came up with the first dog food recipe. And we started making her food here at the house.
Yep.
And then, and now I've kind of just taken it over, and, we change it up and, depending on what we feel like she may need. But it's changed her life. So I did that though for a couple of months, and we took her back to the vet after, just a few months of literally no kibble. We're just you make your food at home, and here's what you're going to eat. And it's mainly meat and veggies and eggs. And like Chris said, a little bit of rice. And we did that. And the vet called me, and it was like, she was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I have never seen better blood work on a dog in my life. Like, Mel's numbers were so drastically different. She started to lose weight. So we've done it now. We've made her food for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And every 6 months I take this dog to a vet, it's like her blood work is it gets better and better. She's the ideal body weight. Mel's a lot happier. She's a lot calmer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, things like her teeth, her coat, her eyes even. I mean, she's like a totally different dog.
She's just chill all the time. And not like lethargic.
No.
Like, you pull out the orange chuck-it ball to go play fetch. I mean, she is off the couch ready to go.
No.
But it's just when she's not doing this, she's just like, she just kind of lays on the couch and hangs out.
Yeah. All of her skin issues went away. I mean, all of this stuff. So it literally, like, I think just like eating whole foods, keto, carnivore, just kind of like what we were doing.
She doesn't itch constantly anymore.
No.
She used to really like scratch and itch. And she had like a yeast issue or something going on with her skin.
Even like her stomach and stuff. Like, very rare nowadays that she would get sick compared to like back in that day. So so we will definitely film a video and share all of this with you and try to just give some more information for people. But I think we treat our animals in this house like they're legitimately family members. And we try to take care of our own health. And so therefore, by just kind of taking the time to get her food cooked for her and do that, it just really seems to help her too.
Yep. So. Thumbs up for loving the puppy dogs.
Yes.
On this video. So, well, cool. Do we have anything else to cover today, my love?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like we've gotten everything. I think so.
Jackie says the Mel food recipe sounds great, and Jerry says dog food recipe, I'm here for it. And Lynn says I don't even have a dog, but I want to see your video for Mel's food. We appreciate that. Fox Dream says just label it as wholesome homemade pooch food.
Not wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Jackie says my dog is not food motivated, and I've tried some raw food for her. She's not a big fan. Even raw eggs, which I thought all dogs love. She turns her nose up. Huh. My mom's Chihuahuas are that way. They're very weird about food. And, maybe a homemade food recipe like this would be good. Mm-hmm. Also, dogs do seem to like warm, or at least room temperature, but warm and soft, wet food. Like they've done studies with dogs, and that's why like canned food is so desirable compared to the dry kibble for many dogs. Mm-hmm. That's why dogs love that. They seem to like that texture, which I think probably goes back to the instinctual hunting of raw meat. Mm-hmm. Like if meat was hard and crusty, that would mean it was old and probably not very good anymore, and the dog would eat it for survival, but not really not really ideal for them. But soft, wet, that kind of stuff. I mean, you're talking like organs and raw meat and that kind of stuff and all these different sorts of things. That's a thing. So apparently my phone let me do a thumbs up on the screen. That was very strange. So never seen that happen before.
Hey.
So there we go. But yeah, so I think maybe that food recipe might help, or something similar. And also we put it in the microwave and we warm it up.
Yeah.
So it's not hot, but it's not cold. It's kind of just a little above room temperature when we mix that raw egg into it and kind of make it soupy. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a gravy with a little bit of water in that raw egg. And I mean, Mel loves it.
Lives for it.
She devours it. So she loves it. Jerry says, yes, Lynn. Jackie says that's true support. Yes. Lynn is very supportive. She's a sweet lady. Jackie says, she is part Chihuahua. Well,
maybe
there you go. That might be part of the breed. So Cindy says, I agree, the homemade dog food video. And Maritza says, maybe I can adapt for cat food. Yeah, Maritza, I think you can use maybe different meats depending on what your cats like. Maybe they like turkey.
Yeah.
If they don't, you could use chicken, or you could use some other kind of meat. And maybe they like eggs, maybe they don't. And then for cats, leave out the veggies and the rice, because cats are obligate carnivores, mm-hmm. which means they have to eat meat. Biologically, they have to have meat. Dogs are a little more flexible. They prefer the meat, and that's the best for them, but they can, with their digestive tract, they can handle a little bit of veggies. Like that's a biological thing. So cats are obligate carnivores. So just take out any plant product from the cat food, and you could use the same thing and just find out like what meats and stuff they like, and you could absolutely make it from scratch for them.
And I think too, you guys may actually be really surprised to realize that you may, in a lot of circumstances, through telling like our friends and stuff about what we do with Mel's food, you may find you actually end up saving a little bit of money compared to what you're paying for like canned food for your pets. It's pretty wild.
Absolutely. Fox Dreams, my dog passed a year ago tomorrow. I'm so sorry, but my 2 cats are on a raw diet. That's fantastic. Right. I mean, truthfully, you can do it raw too. I just know that Mel really likes it cooked, and storing raw turkey and that kind of stuff would be kind of rough. And she seems to do really well with it. But if you want to do raw, like that makes it even easier. It's great. Jackie says, Ash Taylor, you're looking so great this morning. I agree.
You are so sweet.
Isn't she just a glowing, hot, just wonderful piece of angelic, gorgeous beauty over here?
You just made me
I have to tell you guys, I'm a very blessed man for many reasons, but I wake up next to what I believe to be the most beautiful woman in the world every single day.
You're very sweet.
I'm a very lucky man. I really am. What in the world she saw in me and why she sticks around, I don't know, but I just don't question it because I benefit and I love it. So
if you've made any of his recipes, you probably figured out.
That's right.
I do like to eat, guys.
You might be a big goofy redneck, but you can cook.
Yeah, he made these carnitas one time, and I said, "How you doing?" That's that's a survival instinct.
She didn't. She honestly, you guys have probably heard the story. Ashley didn't want me around because she wasn't into dating anybody, and I made her carnitas, and she was like, "Well." And then her second youngest brother, Austin, he had some because he was living with her at the time. They were roommates in an apartment when Ash and I first met, and he had some of those carnitas. He came home from work, and I had this like crock pot with these carnitas and everything, and he ate some. He took a bite, and he looked at her and he goes, "Whatever he wants, you do." And then he looked at me and he goes, "You can have her. If you make these carnitas, you can have my sister."
Got sold for a pot of carnitas.
Like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Very sweet. Thank you so much. Yes. That's a very sweet comment. You're very kind.
She is a radiant picture of beauty today.
You're very sweet. We were talking at the beginning that I was actually going through a little like stomach bug, and I've been touring and haven't slept and have no makeup on this morning. So you're very sweet, and I really appreciate you. You give me a big boost of confidence. So thank you.
Yes. Maritza says, awesome. Fox Dreams, there's a recipe formulated by a veterinarian for cats. Google Dr. Lisa Pearson. Well, there we go. Yeah, awesome. that might be a super cool way. So, and then you might be able to look at our recipe and maybe look at that recipe, find the commonalities between it, kind of develop what works best for you and go from there.
Yeah.
Fox Dream says, my cats have been on it since leaving their mama, and my vet is so impressed with their health. Isn't it amazing when you feed your animals the right stuff? It's almost like the same with people. When we eat keto and carnivore and we eat the right stuff, our health gets better. It's like animals have the same thing going on. Ding, 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 ding.
Says something, right?
What a concept. What a concept. Jerry's given us hundreds all around.
Yeah.
Love it. And hey, there's Sherry from Nevada.
Hey.
Okay, you two, get a room.
Technically, we are in one now.
I was going to say, we are. We are in a room. That's good.
Just be technical.
Traveling Pack is laughing, and Jerry says, I just love your love story. Well, thank you.
I do. Thank you.
I do too. Well, there's a name I don't think I've seen in a while. Debbie Olive Tree. Hello from Philadelphia.
Hey,
hello, Debbie. If you haven't been with us the whole time, you'll have to make sure to go back and watch from the beginning because it was a wild day today. And Fox Dream says, sad to say, I fed my animals right long before I landed myself in the hospital and had to clean my diet up. Well, it's easy to do for the animals, but the culture tells people that is not right, and it's a whole experience, trying to get this all figured out. So Jackie says, I missed the first few minutes, but truly you are looking healthy, glowing. I see the no makeup, but the beauty without it shining this morning.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, thank you so much.
I tell Ash all of the time, she's always like, I look terrible. I have no makeup. And I'm like, you do realize that without makeup, you are just as beautiful as you are with it. It just looks different. One is not more beautiful than the other. It is very sweet. It is amazing. I will say
though, keto and carnivore definitely have really helped, honestly. Things like hair, skin, nails for all the ladies. It's really helped my skin and everything. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Maritza says, congrats for receiving your YouTube button. Thank you, Maritza. We are very proud of it. And thank you to all of you for making this beautiful little wall accessory here a reality. The unboxing video will be coming soon. So Lynn says, thanks, Chris and Ash. Got my Monday motivation for sure. Happy Labor Day. Well, guys, we appreciate all of you. Sherry says, actually, I live in Arizona and I'm from the San Fernando Valley, and the dog was Nevada Pup, my beautiful Nevada, who was the famous underwater diving dog from the internet.
Oh,
well, there we go.
There
we go. Well, hello from Arizona from Sherry.
There you go. Hey,
we're
speaking of dogs, you see who decided to put her nose in the corner.
Look at that little puppy nose over here. Yep, there she is, making her cameo appearance.
Yeah.
So, guys, it has been wonderful to chat with you all today. We hope you're having an amazing Labor Day and that you get some time to rest, maybe grill out some burger patties or some steaks or something. And just remember what the actual meaning of Labor Day is. And make sure to go out, spread love, spread humility, and just help people with your experience with keto and carnivore. And remember that you keep us going. And we are very humbled by the love that we have received from all of you here in the community. If there's anything we can do, let us know. And we're looking for those taste testers. So if you're going to be around Nashville or you're willing to drive, make sure to shoot us a message and let us know, and we'll see if we maybe can't get you on the schedule, because we'd love to have some guests.
Absolutely.
So everyone have a wonderful day. We love you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't before you go out, and leave us a comment down below. Share with a friend. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't, especially if you're watching the replay on this. Help us get those watch hours up so we can get some more of the functionality going on this channel for you guys. And remember, we have some interviews coming. It's going to be a bunch of great stuff. We also have our Tuesday night live stream coming tomorrow on the Chris Cooking Nashville main channel. So guys, get ready for that one. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful, radiant, lovely wife, Ash Taylor. Guys, make sure to eat your meat, love your life. We're going to see you for more motivation, more recipes, and a whole bunch more fun. We'll see you guys later.
Bye. You gonna say